Hello, this is Peter again on Get a Better Broadcast Podcast and Video Voice. Today we're talking a bit more about synonyms, more simple synonyms and advanced synonym advice when it comes to intonation. Now, we looked at the basic synonyms a little bit earlier on, and that's where, just to remind you, you might say the Prime Minister and then refer to them as she, or the green-fingered gardening group is then called the business. Yeah, where you're lifting the first new reference to the Prime Minister or the green-fingered gardening group, but when they're subsequently referred to and you don't repeat the exact same term, you just say she or the business, you subdue those terms because it's not new information, it's a synonym. And we discussed a few days ago, just because it's a different word, the idea is still old. That person, organisation or idea has already been introduced, so a further reference to them using either the same word or a substitute term, the synonym, should not be lifted. But there are exceptions. Like when what at first glance looks like a synonym is actually another noun, albeit associated with the same person or organisation or brand or whatever. And this is important new information. Let me give you an example. Yes, please, Peter. Bit confused at the moment. Okay. The Prime Minister, a mother, is meeting the Women's Institute. Yeah? Don't you naturally lift both Prime Minister, that's new information, and mother? Mother is not another term for Prime Minister. It is, particularly in the context of this story, another describer of that person. It's new information, or if people already know she's a mother, you're drawing their attention to it because it gives added context to the story. Yeah? She's a mother and she's going to the Women's Institute. That's what's important. Let me give you another example. The Green-Fingered Gardening Group, an eco-friendly start-up run by students. We've got lots of new information here, and all of it needs to be coloured with your intonation. There are no synonyms at all. We're lifting the Green-Fingered Gardening Group because it's new information. An eco-friendly start-up run by students. None of that is synonym information. Yeah? It's additional new information. So, you may have more than one describer, of course, each giving new information about, say, the same person, and each word needs to be coloured. Yeah? So let's give you an example of that. We're here today to pay tribute to our dear friend, Fred, businessman, sailor, cricketer, winemaker, and gardener, but most of all, husband and father. Every bit there is new information. Yeah? You could say that all of them refer to Fred. Well, they do, but they're not synonyms for each other. Each one is a new bit of information about dear departed Fred. You're not going to say businessman, sailor, cricketer, winemaker, gardener, husband, father. Each of those titles, each of those roles that Fred had are important, so need to be highlighted in this particular context. We're here today to pay tribute to our dear friend Fred, businessman, sailor, cricketer, winemaker and gardener, but most of all, husband and father. Yeah? So those bit more information about synonyms, simple and advanced. Sometimes you may think something's a synonym when it's not, so be careful about that. And 3 examples of where that could happen. Okay, back tomorrow with more, and we're going on to key stage 4. The 4th bit of information about when you highlight information. And tomorrow, we've talked about highlighting new information and suppressing old information. What do you do when something seems to be old, but it could be new again. In other words, how long before an old idea is now new information? I'll let you know tomorrow as Get a Better Broadcast podcast and video voice continues. From London, I'm Peter Stewart.